Hey guys, good morning. Gabe Suarez here from Suarez International. Driving out to the range today to set up for a class I've got coming up this weekend, and I thought that it was about time that I would do a short video on reactive gun manipulations. Okay, I did one for proactive I think about a year ago, and you know, as I expected, it was going to be very controversial because, you know, gun techniques, people, it's almost like a religion to them. They learned one way, and then, you know what, that's the way it is, and they don't want to hear any different. So just to give you a review, in a fight, you are either proactive or you are reactive. That means that you are either starting the fight or you are reacting to a fight that's already started. Both are perfectly legal and perfectly moral. It all depends on circumstance. All right, for example, you see three bad guys walking into your place of business with weapons and masks. They haven't seen you yet, and you have a chance to basically get the drop on them. That is a proactive gunfight. You know, the terrorist doing terrorist things, and he hasn't noticed you yet, and you shoot him in the back of the head. That is a proactive gunfight. All right, that means you have the initiative. Reactive is the opposite. That means that the fight starts without you realizing it, and then you have to fight your way back from wherever you happen to be. There are gun handling methods that apply to each one of these situations as well. All right, so we talked about the proactive side in the other video, and we're going to talk about the reactive side here. All right, now reactive, that means that you are in the middle of the fight, okay? You are doing your best to kill another person, ostensibly one that was just trying to kill you, okay? They are continuing with their action, and all of a sudden you realize that your pistol's not working. All right, your lifespan right now is measured in seconds, and that's if you're lucky. Okay, so let's paint the picture here. All right, there you are, you know, inside of 10 yards. Your adversary, be he a common thug or an ISIS terrorist, tried to kill you, and you did your best to kill him right back, and it didn't work. Your pistol didn't work. Okay, that's where your perspective starts. Okay, and that's the perspective from which we developed all of our gun handling methods in the reactive realm. Yeah. All right. Number one, how much time do you have? All right. Well, I don't know, but it's very simple. It's very little time. You don't have a lot of time. Okay. Number two, can you multitask at this point? Can you look at your pistol and try and decipher what's going on with it, and analyze it and determine whether it's a type 1 or a type 2 or this or that or the other? And number three, does it matter what caused the malfunction right now? Look at this like a gunfighter, not like a gunsmith. All right? Okay. So what happens is, at gun school, the instructor usually has you pre-arrange some sort of malfunction, whether it's a failure to fire or a failure to eject, aka a stovepipe, or a failure to extract, which sometimes people will call a double feed. It's not really that, it's a failure to extract. Okay, and then they'll show you one method to solve it, and then they will say, okay, ready, go, and they'll time you on your efficiency in solving that particular problem with that particular solution. Now, that's all well and good, and everybody feels good at the end of the day, and oh gee, my goodness, you know, I learned 5 different malfunction clearances. Don't I feel tactical? All right, but listen, what's missing? Number one, the duress that you will be under when feeling when you have to do this for real. That's the first thing. Okay. The second thing is pressure. Time from a timer is not real pressure. Someone trying to shoot you and blow your brains out, that's real pressure. Somebody running toward you with a baseball bat to cave your head in, that's real pressure. Okay? All right? So what we do is we begin with the understanding of what your circumstance is going to be. All right, and we look at it from a very practical perspective, not from a technical one or a technological one or one based on gunsmithing or a desire to complicate things so that you guys will think that we're cooler. Okay? All right, so what we do is we have two maneuvers, okay? Very, very simple, things that you already know. All right, everybody here knows how to do a tap rack, yeah? Okay, and everybody here knows how to reload the gun. In other words, rip the existing magazine out, let it fall to the deck, put another magazine in, and work the slide, okay? All right, so we take those two maneuvers that every gun baby out there knows, and we employ them in a way that allows you to solve every possible malfunction that is fixable in the field. All right, so anytime that the gun stops working, the first thing that you do, without analyzing, without glancing at the gun, truly an immediate action drill stimulus response, is that you tap rack the weapon. Okay? We don't assume that the weapon is empty. That is a mistake, and it could be a fatal one, because the weapon is not always empty. All right? So anytime the weapon stops, whether it's because it is a failure to fire, a failure to eject, a failure to extract, or an empty weapon, we always tap rack. Tap rack immediately. Now, some people will tell you that you tap rack assess. Nonsense! You tap rack and press the trigger, and you continue killing if the bad guy is still there. Okay? That's how you verify whether the thing worked or not. Okay? So, tap rack press. If that worked, wonderful. Carry on, and later when you're at home, you know, reviewing the results of your work over a nice Jameson's or a cognac, you can try and figure out why your weapon malfunctioned and take steps to prevent it the next time. Okay, so tap, rack, press. If that worked, fantastic. If it didn't work, you brains to the second solution. The second solution, which is very, very simple. Reload the gun. Okay, reload the gun. That means that you pull the existing magazine out of the gun, drop it to the deck, put another magazine on board, and work the slide. Okay? Very simple. Now, reasons why the tap rack didn't work. Okay, well, the tap rack will work and solve a failure to fire, meaning that you have a cartridge in the chamber that didn't ignite, okay, for whatever reason. The tap rack will fix a failure to eject, or what some people call a stovepipe. All right. The tap rack will fix the very common but always ignored situation of your slide not locking open on the last round for whatever reason. Okay. The tap rack will fix all of those. The last one, it won't fix it, but it'll give you an idea of what you have. Okay? So if the tap rack didn't fix it, what you have most likely is either you have an empty weapon, all right, or you have a failure to extract, also known as a type 3, also known as a double feed. Okay? The reload the gun solution will fix both of those. Take your support hand, extract that magazine out of the weapon manually, not just relying on the magazine release button. Help it along with the support hand. Let it drop to the deck, insert a fresh magazine on board, and then cycle the slide, loading around back into the chamber. Some of you asked when we were looking at the proactive solutions why I rack the slide after I do a proactive reload. This is why, because I want uniformity of technique. And if I can minimize one additional technique that I have to practice by racking the slide, I'll definitely take that. Okay? If I've just put a 15 to 17 round magazine in my weapon, the potential loss of one round is cheap insurance, and it's worthwhile to not have an additional decision in the solution process. Okay, so if the gun doesn't work, tap rack press. If that doesn't work, reload the gun. Okay, that will solve 99.99% of any malfunction that you could possibly have with a pistol, other than the gun being broken. Okay? Now, sometimes you have these, I don't know what you call them, compound malfunctions, where they're kind of a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and they don't readily fit into a particular category. Okay, the simple solution to this is unload the gun and then reload the gun. Okay? So that magazine will come out, you'll cycle the slide until you are fairly certain that the weapon is unloaded, replace that magazine, cycle the slide one more time, and then carry on with the fight. Okay? Now, an additional thing that we address in training is that if this malfunction clearing process, I should say, doesn't work, is not successful, you cannot ignore the fact that there may be something mechanical in the weapon that broke. And if that's the case, don't be monkey trapped with your tap racks and reloads and things like that. If you go through this cycle and it doesn't clear it, you need to consider that something broke in the weapon and you need to transition to other weapons or unass the area, because there's really not a lot you can do right there. Or transition to hand, draw your knife and attack the guy. Okay? So those are your options. Watch the footage of me using this clearance process. It's very simple, non-diagnostic. I don't have to look at the weapon at all. I don't require light. I don't require anything other than a pre-planned process to follow that I can do mindlessly, under stress, under fire, and kill the bad guy before he kills me.